Greetings, friends. I am Dreyfusano, and I welcome you back to Day 8 of my vlog every day in April for 2016. Now, for Day 8, I'm going to give this the title of the 10-year stretch, because I'm going to sort of go over here what it is that I did during my college years. Now, I started my college career back in 2001, from what I can remember, at a college called Utah Valley State College. Now, all of my brothers had gone to Brigham Young University, and I chose Utah Valley State College because I didn't really feel like my grades were that good. I mean, I have A's and B's and a couple of C's here and there, but I think because I had so many C's, B's and C's, I didn't feel like my grades would have been that good. So I primarily just went to UVSC, Utah Valley State College, for the majority of the time. Now, our brothers had an apartment down in the Provo area where I would commute back and forth to college and everything and start learning. Now, usually you would go to college for about 4 years. I was there till about 2010, and I'll get to that here in a few minutes. Now, this is probably the first time that I had an autism experience, with again, still without noticing it. Sort of going back into my whole college career, I would start taking classes and start taking electives and other classes that I thought were required and everything to start getting my associates out of the way. Now, what started happening over the next couple of months and years is that I would start taking those classes and those electives, and my counselors at the time would tell me that you don't need to go through this path, you need to go through this path. I would go through this path, and then they'd say, oh, you need those classes don't count anymore, you need to go through this path. And it would keep going back and forth like that, and it sort of felt like I wasn't making a lot of progress. Throughout the time of from 2002 to 2004, I served a mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And after I came back from that, I would keep going. My parents lived in New York at the time too, and I would stay out there for about a 6-month interval. But still, this whole thing would still be coming back and forth, and it wasn't until about 2008, 2009, when I was on the process of actually graduating from college. There were a couple of classes that I had, about 4 or 5, and it was sort of hinted to me that it may be hard for me to actually graduate, because I had taken so many of these other classes, just these other prerequisites, requisites, and then all of these other classes that just didn't really matter. Up until this point, I got stuck. Now, my 2 mentors that I had at the time, and I refer to them as mentors because I didn't really have many other classes there too, sort of took me aside and sort of told me that they don't know where my skills lied. I was taking a couple of 3D animation classes. I was taking some rendering classes and character development classes, which took a lot of drawing, a lot of computer skills and everything. And the senior class above me was actually creating their projects, and they were getting hired on by other companies and everything. But they told me that they don't know where my skills were, and I really just had a panic attack there, because back at that time, all my brothers had other jobs and other things that they were doing too, and here I am still just a college student playing World of Warcraft, and I don't know where I'm going. Where do I go? How do I go from here? Where do I go from here? And UVSC had become Utah Valley University, or now UVU. I don't really remember when it became UVU, but so get to those 2 mentors. They tell me they don't know where my skills are. I sort of share my backstory and everything. Essentially, I finished up a couple of classes and everything, and they sort of gave me two choices. Either option one, I take another year of classes and finish up everything, or two, I take like 1 or 2 more semesters of classes and then just graduate right there. I had to take the second option because the apartment that I was living in was actually owned by both one of my brothers and my dad at the time. So I chose that option. And one thing I want to mention here too about this, at least going back to my autism too, is that both my brother and my dad had sort of said something to the effect of, when you graduate from college, then we're going to sell the apartment. Now, it sort of occurred to me at that time too that when that happens, they didn't really say what's going to happen to me, because I was sort of directed from elementary school, junior high, high school, and college, and I had my parents backing me up, but this was one of those first times that I was actually out on my own for the 10-year stretch. But eventually, I graduated from college, as you can see up there. I'm still learning how to point backwards here. So I graduated, and eventually, after I graduated, I moved back up to Salt Lake, and I lived with another one of my brothers for, I want to say, 4 or 5 months. And that was a pretty interesting experience too. That apartment was sold now, and I lived with him for about 4 or 5 months, and after that, I'm in this place now, and I'm actually living here by myself, and it's been a pretty interesting experience taking care of myself and still learning. I am learning a lot of different things, and I'm learning how to not only take care of myself, but eventually still expand on that, and keeping my apartment relatively clean, and a lot of minor things like that. So this 10-year stretch has sort of, while it may have been pretty unique while it may have been unnecessary for other people, that taught me a lot there. So one other thing I'm going to mention here for this 10-year stretch of day 8 is it wasn't until I was graduating from college that I actually learned I was on the autism spectrum. So I was sort of coming off of a UBU does like some sort of Mr. UBU thing, sort of like this UBU, where it's sort of like a talent competition and things like that and everything. And I went in and had stuttering, had a couple of tests done, and then I found a place called Autism Journeys, which was in the Draper area. And I met a good friend by the name of Morgan, who told me, you have autism. So this is essentially the whole "you're a wizard, Harry" moment. And I was a little bit skeptical at first, learning about, okay, I have this autism, but essentially, when I went to move in with my other brother after college, there was something that was just going on in my head that I need to figure out why I feel so different. Why all of these previous years I felt as different as I did. There has to be some reason. So I find this Autism Journeys place. I meet this friend by the name of Morgan. Tells me I have autism and everything, and we take a couple of months, and she takes me to different places. We play laser tag a bit together a little bit, and I'm just shocked. This is the answer that I'm looking for. This is why I feel so different. So there you go. And coming back to what it is that I want to do here, now that I know that, I want to share that all with you and see if I can't make this a unique experience. So I'm going to leave it at that for day 8. And with that, I do want to thank you again for watching here. And again, this is Dreyfusano for day 8, the vlog every day in April for 2016. Be you, be yourself.